This is his first introduction onto video. Popper Paul.
Hi, guys. What's up, kids? I love you.
And I'm DJ Glowing Ice. And today we are talking about a coveted film that features my second and third dad, Beavis and Butthead. It's a coveted film because it is the sequel I've been waiting for the longest time. Paul, have you been waiting for a sequel?
Yeah, sure. Kind of. After the last series, not really. But, welcome surprise that they announced that they were going to do another movie. So, yeah, I was excited when I heard about it.
Yeah, same. I heard rumors for the longest time that there was always going to be a sequel, but nothing ever came to be. There was talks a long time ago about a live-action Beavis and Butthead. That would have been god-awful. We are going to review the new Beavis and Butthead film, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
Bang! Ha! That's a thumbnail!
Let's take it off to you, Paul. What did you think about the trailer?
Oh, garbage. I hated it. I saw the trailer, and I thought it was going to be a horrible movie. It just looked like a romp around in space just with Beavis and Butthead. And I was like, okay, this is going to suck. This is not going to be good. It's going to be terrible, in fact.
That's what I felt like. It felt like it was going to be, like it was written by the people from Rick and Morty or something. That's what it felt like. You know, and it's just like I saw, okay, they're teasing Butthead being a unicorn. I'm like, who is this geared toward? I don't know if it was geared toward the OG fans or if they're trying to expand to another, target audience or what. But I was just left kind of like, this may suck horribly or it may just be a badly edited trailer.
And come to find out, it was just the edited trailer.
Yeah,
because,
God.
they buried the lead with the plot by just showing Beavis and Butthead in space, getting sucked up by a black hole, and then Butthead's a unicorn, and then it's like, okay, this will be just as successful as the reboot of Beavis and Butthead in what was it, like 2013 or 20,
yeah, it's 2011.
2011.
Yeah.
It's gonna be just as good as that, which was horrible.
God, thank God. I'm glad you thought it sucked too, because that.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
So the summary of Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe is this. Blasting off on a NASA space mission in 1998, mischievous best pals Beavis and Butthead time travel to the year 2022. As the NSA and the US government try to track them down, the clueless teens do their best to adjust to modern life. I think this new revamped version is better than what they tried to do in 2011. It's not as good as the original. Nothing could ever be as good as the original. Because I think the original writers, a lot of them aren't back for this new thing. I think they brought in a lot of new blood, as they did with this movie.
Well, and it's like a lightning in a bottle thing with Beavis and Butthead. It was so stupid and like irreverent to anything else.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't really remake that.
No. Yeah.
I mean, you can just continue it in a different way, kind of like they did with this movie, but you're never going to recapture that magic, especially of the early 90s. I know everybody likes to try and recapture the magic of the 90s, but you're never going to do it. Mm-hmm. Stop doing it. Stop trying. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You can't operate like how MTV did and everybody did back in the 90s. It's a totally different climate now, sadly, but that's just the way it was.
Things were more better, I think. I think they were a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, you could take more chances and do stupider things.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, you could do anything you want now, but for like a major TV network to pick it up, something just stupid as Beavis and Butthead. Because Beavis and Butthead's not smart.
No.
It's stupid. And it's funny. And we don't really have that anymore. Now we have like Rick and Morty, which is acting stupid, but also you have to have a big brain to really understand the intricacies of the humor of Rick and Morty. Shut the up.
Beavis and Butthead, to the average person, will look at it and think, it's stupid and annoying. Why are they laughing? That's the usual normie kind of idea of what Beavis and Butthead is. But behind it was basically Beavis and Butthead is a parody of what Mike Judge and who Mike Judge met and did back in the day. And Beavis and Butthead was written by very smart people, but they were told to write dumb. So you got these very talented writers, and they're just sitting in a room. It's like, okay, this is what I would write, but let me put myself in the brain of a really stupid person, and what would they think? So they kind of had to go through an extra layer of onion to write out, all the episodes back in the day and today. That's what it is, but a lot of people don't understand that. They just don't get it, dude.
Well, and it's smart people writing dumb humor, and baseline, we all love dumb humor. Don't try and act like you have a big brain and you're smarter than everyone else, and you don't like farting humor. It's hilarious. It's the best kind of humor. It's like an instinctual, primal humor that we all have inside of us, that we all think's funny. We all think it's great.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want to admit that it's funny. Like, one of my favorite lines from the original show is when Butthead is at a drive-thru, and he just says, "I'd like to order a butt." That's so stupid, but it's genius and hilarious. It's so dumb, but it's hilarious at the same time. And like I was saying, I was watching Do America the other night with my fiance, and she just kept looking at me every time I laughed, like, with a, what the f-? It's funny.
Yeah.
It is funny. It's not funny just because it's stupid potty humor. Stupid potty humor is great. Everyone loves it.
Well, it's like anytime a woman sends me some type of video and she thinks it's funny, and she sends it to me thinking it's funny, and I'll see it and be like, but I'll write LOL and a laugh emoji and be like, yeah.
I have this problem all the time.
Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, released on Paramount Plus on June 23rd, 2022. Going into it, I was just like, it's not going to bother me if this takes a complete dump, but after it, well, we'll get into that. Paul?
When I first started the movie, and they did a mock intro like they did with Do America. Do America, they did a mock like Godzilla intro with Beavis and Butthead where they're running around destroying things. Funny. And then this one, they did like a mock Star Wars one, which was like claymation for whatever reason. Yeah. And it was funny and fun. The beginning, like when they started in the school, usual humor at the science fair. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm back. If it stays this way the whole movie, it's going to be great. And it definitely delivered on that.
It opens up, like Paul said, it looks like claymation. I thought it was 3D.
It might have been.
It might have been. It starts off with the boys in the ship, Star Wars, like they're attacking the Death Star. They run into a wall. Boom. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, title screen. And it opens up with the boys sitting at the couch, and they're talking to the viewer about how this is the story.
Well, you wonder where we might have been for the last 20 years.
24 years. And I was so glad to see this one thing, and it's the rip on the couch. I want to know the backstory. I just want to know the story behind the rip on the couch behind Beavis.
We're going to do a deep dive on that next time.
Yeah, we're going to do a very deep focus. We're back in 1998, where the original series left off. They're at a science fair, and Butthead's kicking Beavis in the nuts. Butthead gets this idea that he's going to take Beavis to this Kicker 3000, whatever this is, this football leg.
It's another science fair project of someone else's.
Yeah.
It's just like they can crank up this leg to kick a football.
The one thing that I noticed when Butthead was cranking up the thing, and it shows a shot of Beavis, in the background, you'll see another science fair project that says AC versus DC. It's a little nod to AC/DC. Yeah, go back and look at that. But yeah, there's that there. So that was a nice little Easter egg. Very obvious.
They didn't really have to, have the Easter egg because they're already wearing their Metallica AC/DC shirts anyway.
Right. Beavis gets kicked by the super kick thing. He flies into the air. He screams this high-pitched scream, which breaks all these beakers and stuff from other science fair projects, sets the gym on fire. Boom. They are, I should say, spoiler alert from here on out if you don't, yeah. They're in the courtroom, and the judge decides that after watching an episode of Touched by an Angel, that these boys shouldn't be punished, but they should be sent to space camp to...
Well, we should also set that the prize for winning the science fair was an 8-week trip to space camp.
Oh, yeah.
So the judge decides then that their punishment after watching Touched by an Angel, which that funny. But was that, they should go to space camp because they can't find a winner for the science fair because everything burned down. They have no records anymore.
Oh.
So they send Beavis and Butthead to space camp.
Good catch.
As their punishment.
So they go to space camp, and it's at the Johnson Space Center. This is when Serena and Jim, NASA astronauts, and they introduce themselves to the crowd and whatever. They start seeing this loading dock thing that looks much like a very phallic object going into a hole. And Beavis and Butthead are amazed. And they start working overnight. Just keep seeing this phallic thing go into this hole over and over again. From day to night, and then it's morning again.
The NASA higher-ups watch them for like a couple days because they're docking the shuttle thing into like a satellite. And they're just obsessed with sticking this penis-shaped object in a hole, which is on brand. And then they decide, we need to put them on the next mission because they just have this like unhealthy obsession with doing this.
Up until this point, was there anything that you think this is better than the Do America?
No,
or?
not at all. Not saying it's worse. I think it's on par, exactly on par. And I have my notes. I took notes. Beat for beat, kind of the same as Do America. People, for whatever reason, have this odd inclination that they're actually highly intelligent. Mm-hmm. Like in the first movie, they're operatives. They're what's his name? Robert Stack, who plays the FBI agent in the first movie, has this thing in his head where he thinks Beavis and Butthead are these hyper intelligent like terrorists.
Yeah.
And in this one, everybody at NASA thinks these guys are super intelligent because they just are obsessed with phallic humor, but they don't see that. The goal of the movie is to score. First movie, Muddy, voiced by Bruce Willis, says, I want you to do my wife. And they're like, okay. And then they're going to go do his wife. And this one, when they keep inserting the phallic docking terminal inside, what's her name? Serena. And she says, would you like to do that with me for real? In space, and it just sets off the whole thing.
It's kind of sweet to see how much Beavis and Butthead will endure between the first movie and this movie, what they'll do in order to score with a chick. So the boys move on. There's a montage of space training happening. The door rises, and the crew's walking out towards the shuttle.
My favorite part about that scene, and I did write this down, they do play a not Independence Day theme song, which is just slightly off key of the Independence Day theme song. Like
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. You remember like
Bill Pullman,
when he's giving like the heroic speech, and they're gonna save the day. Yeah, if you do listen when they're walking out to go to the space shuttle, they actually do play a slightly off key version.
What happens? They go up into space. They get blinded by looking at this telescope that's pointing at the sun.
They pointed at the sun.
They pointed at the sun. Butthead tells Beavis to look through it. Beavis burns one of his eyes, and he's like, I can't, whatever. He's like, use the other one. That's why you got two of them. And Butthead does the same thing. Then it's time for them to dock the shuttle into the International Space Station, and they get called up. They're all blinded temporarily. They mess up naturally, and the space station blows up into a million pieces, sends the shuttle off into space. They lose contact. And then it gets to the point where it's a survival situation, and there's 7 crew members on the shuttle, and there's only air enough for 5 people. The captain and the lieutenant, or captain and the another guy steps up, and they say, I'll do this, even though they're all looking at Beavis and Butthead to sacrifice themselves.
Oh, at one point, I forget, I think it's Serena, she says, if anybody has any objections, and then everyone's like, well, actually, and they're like, no, I'm gonna do this to be heroic, to play it straight,
right? Yeah, trying to be very noble. Serena's like, I'm gonna take this one last spacewalk. She goes down and leaves.
She gives her like a bangle that her grandmother gave her to Beavis and Butthead. She says she's going to change, and then they interpret that as she wants us to watch her change from the outside of the shuttle.
Yeah.
So they put the suits on. I don't know how they just by themselves put the suits on in spacewalk.
Yeah.
But they're outside of the window, and they have the bangle, and they're just like doing that through the window at her, and then they lose it in space. And then that's when she takes the space arm and just golf swings them. Out into space. So like she's like these guys.
So she knocks him off, and she goes back and tells the crew, you know what, guys, Beavis and Butthead followed me down, and they sacrificed themselves. They will always be remembered for being so noble. And
I tried to stop them.
Yeah.
I tried to tell them not to do it, but they wouldn't listen.
Yeah. A few days later, they're still just floating in space in their suits, and Butthead says something like,
She's playing the long game. Something like that.
Yeah, that is it. Then after that, they approach a black hole, and they don't know what it is.
Which is why they went to space in the first place, was to use the telescope to look at the black hole.
Yeah, they get sucked into it, and boom, they are now into the future in Galveston, Texas. 2022, they fall onto the beach, and that's where we are in the future. When they're on the beach, the smart version of Beavis and Butthead pop up.
Yeah, from an alternate universe.
Yeah, and they tell Beavis and Butthead that they need to enter this portal that's on Mount Everest in 2 days. Otherwise,
all of the universes are going to be destroyed.
Yeah, everything's just going to be apocalypse, basically. The end of the world, everything you know. And once they disappear, Beavis asks Butthead, you know, what was that all about? And Butthead said, I don't know, they're probably British or something. We see the entire crew from 1998. They're all older and working different government jobs. Some of the crew members are working at the Pentagon, and they realize, these life forms are using a space-time portal. It's happening now. So they go on this investigation now, and they are now tracking and on the trail of Beavis and Butthead. This is when Beavis and Butthead are now walking the pier. They come across that German family.
Yeah. If I may interject, the man, the husband, is voiced by David Herman, who plays Michael Bolton in Office Space.
Oh, really?
I actually have a list of people who were...
Oh, that's awesome.
Of Mike Judge people who were in this movie.
That's cool. Yeah. So the guy hands this phone to Beavis and Butthead to take a picture of his family.
And then they end up backing up to get a better picture, falling in the water. And they're like, well, at least it was a good end to that show.
They start walking. They're hungry, so they get to this one place, and they say, we want something to eat or something, but we ain't got no money.
You could just pay with your phone.
Yeah.
Says, oh, okay.
They realize they could buy anything with this guy's phone. So they go on this big montage spree, which this is the point now where I kind of felt a little, I felt like this song was kind of out of place with this montage of the boys just spending all this money and flicking the nachos.
Are you talking about
rain.
The Make It Rain song?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. It was a little out of place, I'm not going to lie.
No, okay, look, listen. I was 9 years old whenever I got the Beavis and Butthead Do America soundtrack for Christmas. And I listened to that thing front to back a million times, and I've loved every single song on there. There's LL Cool J on there. There was a lot of like just old school rap. I really feel like there should have been an old school rap song on there that could have fit the scene a lot better.
I don't disagree with you on that, especially and just fast forwarding to like the ending credits. They play like a fucking Metallica song. It's like just play like an old school rap song that kind of that conveys the same point. But then again, it's Beavis and Butthead. Like I don't really give a shit. Like it wasn't a horrible scene. Like when they're in the strip club and they just got the nachos and they're just like
that was cool. Yeah,
like it was fine. Yeah. It wasn't bad.
No,
it just. It's like, okay.
It just felt a little out of place. I didn't hate it, but yeah, it just felt a little out of place. And I'm just like,
Like it would have been better if they weren't doing that and they were actually like watching strippers and putting like cheesy nachos in their G-strings or something.
Would have been
like I think that would have been a little better. But yeah, whatever. It was fine, but slightly out of place. Especially with, like you said, like a newer rap song. It'd have been nice to have an older rap song.
Montage ends with them sitting in a hotel, Butthead's on the phone ordering more nachos, and Beavis comes across the phone and he says something like, I'm serious, or...
Oh, he says seriously.
And that triggers the Siri option on the iPhone. Beavis gets into this whole conversation thinking he's talking to Serena. So he goes into this room by himself and he's like having this heart-to-heart phone conversation with Siri.
With Siri. But the best part is, like, anytime he says Butthead's name, and she I don't understand Butthead. He's like, yeah, me neither. I don't know. It's confusing.
Yeah. He's just laying there in bed and he's just like rubbing his arm like, I just think about you. So it kind of shows like a side of Beavis that he really is looking for love, and Butthead is more of like the Mac Daddy that he's the player. So that's the dynamic between the two.
Well, DJ, I actually have notes on it. And I wrote that down. Beavis wants love, Butthead wants sex. They both want sex, but Beavis, especially in this one, Beavis is like hardcore about the being in love thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to fast forward to the end, but it definitely is exemplified in the end with when there are two Beavises.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god. But hey, they're different. It just shows that they're dynamic.
Yeah.
They're not the same guy.
Right.
They have different wants and needs.
Yeah. Well, Beavis was, in the early part of the series, at the very beginning, Beavis was just kind of there to say little words here and there, but Butthead was more developed. Right
Yeah,
from
you're
the
not
start.
you're not wrong about it. I never really thought about that before. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beavis was always just like that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and fire, that was it, basically. But he's developed quite a bit to his own person now. So, but yeah, Butthead's more the leader, Beavis is the follower, and that's kind of how it's always been. But we see a lot more of Beavis's personality in this movie, more than ever before, I feel. Something about the home app that Beavis talks to Siri about, and she was like, you got to set up the home app to do this or whatever. And Beavis registers this as, we got to go home, Butthead. And so the investigators that are hot on their trail have picked up the phone signal and they're tracking them by the phone now. So Beavis and Butthead leave to head home, and it's like 160 something hours of walking till they reach home. The investigators break into the hotel, realize they're not there, covered in nacho cheese, and this is one of the funniest parts in the movie, I feel. The word butt is written in nacho cheese on the wall in the hotel. I just thought that was really funny. Beavis and Butthead are now walking, and they come across a construction site where there's a porta potty. Beavis realizes, I need to, go to the bathroom real quick or whatever. He grabs the phone from Butthead. Butthead bangs on the door, breaks in. They fight. The phone falls into the porta potty, and Beavis is now in the porta potty, inside the toilet, trying to search for it. The porta potty gets picked up.
They get picked up by one of the transport companies that transports them. It just gets taken across the United States.
On the Road Again by Willie Nelson plays as they travel along. Then they get dropped off at this college, which begins one of the greatest, if not the best scene.
It is the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
It is the funniest scene in the movie. It's the most, poignant. Beavis and Butthead's not known for its social commentary.
Right.
And I hate social commentary. I'm done with it. I don't care about it anymore. But it's funny.
It's still funny.
It's funny to see them in a 2022 college.
First, they come across Smart Beavis and Smart Butthead again. The aliens, they pop up, and they say, you know what? We moved the portal from Mount Everest to behind the Classics building.
Right behind that library.
Yeah. So all you need to do is go right over there. And they're just like, whatever. Smart Beavis and Smart Butthead disappear. And then they find themselves walking into the gender studies class. And Butthead's asking where all are.
He says, we have a waiting for us at our home.
It upsets everybody in the classroom. Instructor's like, wait. No, let's talk about this.
It's a teaching moment.
Yeah. And so, needless to say, she brings up how Beavis and Butthead are a perfect example of white privilege and how anything they want, they could have, and anything they do, they won't get in trouble for, and all this stuff,
I was going to say, my favorite part about that exchange, when they're talking about what white privilege is, and then the teacher says, can someone explain to them what white privilege is? My favorite part is the teacher saying, well, after learning all this, do you think you're going to change your behavior? And then Butthead just says, you can count on it. Cut to the montage where they're walking through the college, just like, stealing food from people. Nah, we can just do whatever we want without consequence.
Yeah.
And they just do it. It's one of the best parts of the movie.
Going back to that one guy with the dreadlocks.
Oh, yeah.
They drew these people in this class exactly like the people that I know in
Around
real
today.
life that are in college
Yeah, I
classes
know.
like that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know.
so many people like that make crappy acoustic music, and
Look just like that.
yeah, they do look just like that. But
Take it as a lesson, kids. Don't go to college.
There you
College
go.
sucks.
Beavis and Butthead then approach a cop car, and they're trying to make it, back home. So they realize, hey, let's just take that car. And
And Beavis says, that's a cop car, Butthead.
yeah.
And Butthead's like, didn't you hear we have white privilege?
They get in the car. Butthead puts it in reverse and basically wrecks the car. They get arrested. They drop the phone. So the investigators following them just find the phone there shattered, and Beavis and Butthead are then lugged off to jail. In this whole jail scene, was there anything that you felt was truly funny?
It was kind of just like a zone out. They didn't really do a lot that I liked. Stephen Root, who's in everything, he plays Milton in Office Space. He played the tattoo artist.
Oh, really?
In jail, yeah. Like, the only thing that stuck out to me that I wrote down was a callback to another Beavis and Butthead thing. You remember, and I'm sure everyone's going to remember this, because everyone watches Beavis and Butthead. When Beavis and Butthead were going to get a tattoo, and they wanted a tattoo of a butt, with a tattoo of a butt on their butt, they do reference it in the movie.
Yeah.
When Butthead wants a tattoo of a butt on his forehead. I took that as a reference to that.
I did too. I was expecting. I'm like, wait. I thought he wanted it on his butt. Maybe he's
No,
changed
he went on his forehead this time.
Yeah.
And then Stephen Root, the tattooed jail artist, says, you sure you don't want like a pair of dice or something? He's like, it's going to be on my forehead for the rest of my life, dumbass.
Exactly.
I mean, the jail thing, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the whole scene. Nothing happened. Beavis took a bunch of drugs and then caused an uprising, and then they just got let go scot-free.
It was a no consequence kind of just touch base scene.
It did lead to a good scene, though, between Serena, the guy that's like right under her.
The lieutenant,
Yeah,
Jim.
yeah.
Yeah, his name's Jim.
And then they just show up and they're like, we're going to surprise pardon 2 prisoners today because they think they're going to get Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
And then they just get these 2 like butch dudes.
Yeah.
And then they end up like tying them up to a tree and stealing their car and leaving.
There needed to be a Cornholio scene at some point in the movie. And I guess that was the best segue into Beavis getting amped up from those drugs.
We got a Cornholio scene, but not one where he's like gallivanting around. Like in the White House in Do America, like meeting with world leaders, saying that he's Cornholio, which is amazing. And that's one of the most memorable things about Beavis. People who don't even watch Beavis and Butthead that much, Cornholio. Shirt over the head. I'm Cornholio. Everybody knows that.
You look just like him
Thank
like that.
you.
Yeah.
I try.
So since the boys are pardoned, they get on the bus. Scot-free, get a free bus ride back to Highland. But before they get to Highland, it's nighttime, and the boys are on the bus, and they're kind of dreaming. And this is where all the crazy segments, and I feel like this is the part, I feel like in Do America, we had the white zombie scene where they're on the desert, and that's when it kind of cuts out, and it's a totally different thing.
Yep.
But this, I feel like, is their version of it with Do the Universe.
Yeah.
So we get into Beavis's dream first, and it starts off with Beavis and Serena frolicking in a field and burning a bug with a magnifying glass.
And Serena says, "You're right, Beavis. Fire is cool."
Yeah. And then Beavis getting beat up by Todd and his gang, but then Serena saves the day with a sword.
Cuts all of their heads off.
Yeah, cuts all their heads off. And then the last part is a unicorn falling onto Todd's car. Beavis and Serena jump on top and fly off into the air, and then Butthead's face is on the unicorn, and he's like, "I'm a deer," and then it cuts off. What did you think about that?
I hated it. I didn't like that scene that much. It kind of reminded me of Adventure Time or Steven Universe. Like, it's like, oh, my epic random. Like, the stuff in Do America, like, I watched it yesterday. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, that is cool because, like, Beavis eats a like a random cactus mushroom or something, and starts tripping. So it's cool and it makes sense. Them just having a random dream, sleeping on a bus. Like, I didn't like Beavis's dream. Butthead's dream was funny because he was like dressed like a pimp walking through like a club.
Beavis's dream was which I agree with you on that. But the funniest part is Butthead's in his dream. All the chicks come up to him and they say something like, "Are you gonna score with me and every single girl you know?" Yeah, he turns around and he says, "Indeed." After that, it's morning. The boys get dropped off in Highland and they run back to their house, which now has a for sale sign in the front yard.
Open house.
Open house. There's a real estate agent in there showing a bunch of people the house, and they're like, "Hey, this is our house." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I feel the same way. I just love it, don't you?" We kind of get to know the background of Beavis and Butthead's parents, at least with Beavis' mom.
One of their moms. Well, I don't think we know who. They do talk about, like, oh, the woman who owned this was the mother of one of the kids who died in a NASA accident or whatever. And this is what she said that she wished she could say to her son.
Yeah, so while she's, like, telling the boys this story about Shirley Beavis's mom.
Story.
Yeah, beautiful story. And Beavis and Butthead are just shoving things down this garbage disposal, and it's making all this noise to where everything this woman is saying is inaudible. So we get little hints and pieces. There's talk of a settlement money, and she blew through that. At least we know now that it's Beavis's house more than Butthead's. I think originally, like...
Did they say a name in it, though? I don't remember that. I just don't remember them saying in the movie that it was, like, her house. Oh, that's fine.
The longest time in Beavis and Butthead lore, I always thought it was Butthead's house. But I guess
did I.
Yeah, well,
I guess not.
I think so. Well, now it's cemented. You know, it is Beavis's house after all, and Butthead's just living in it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. When they're at the college and they're talking to the teacher, and the teacher's like, or I think they say something like, "Do you know us?" It's like, "Yeah, your father was probably rich and probably blah blah blah."
Oh, yeah.
And then Butthead's like, "You know my father?" Beavis just says, Butthead's mom said he died of syphilis.
And then Beavis, in the cop car, was like, "We're going to get jobs on Wall Street." That's another good one. So the whole house is renovated. Looks pretty nice. They got a half bathroom. So I realized that. I was like, yeah, I guess they never really took a shower. They just got that toilet and the sink, and that's it.
We never really saw anything minus the living room.
I think in the series, though, I might have seen a tub or something in their bathroom, but that was, I don't know. They're switching everything up, how the whole house looks compared to the old series, but anyways, at least the structure of it and whatever. But
we're going to forget about all that stuff from the 90s.
All the trash from the 90s. This is the new stuff. This is the cool
All the
stuff.
old fans won't remember. We know the layout of the Beavis and Butthead home.
Yeah.
Don't try and trick us. Thank you.
Well, the thing is, you see the Beavis and Butthead couch right in front of you. You're the TV.
The couch, you got the TV.
Yeah. To the right is the front door.
Yeah.
But now it's a closet in the new movie. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, it's very weird.
Well, they did a lot of renovations.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. So they're in the house and they wind up fighting because Beavis and Butthead are talking about Serena, and Butthead's giving Beavis crap like, "Oh, Serena, I love you," and they start fighting and everything.
Well, but Butthead also claims, he's like, "Serena was just using you to get to me."
Yeah.
He says, "I'm the one she wants to do." He makes fun of Beavis for being like, "Oh, Serena, I don't have a boner. Oh, I want to be with you." And this is why I do love... I love Beavis more than Butthead. Always, forever.
Same.
But Butthead, after Beavis smacks him, "Beavis, you have crossed a line." Like, Beavis does have some kind of, like, intelligence. He's not that... He's really dumb, but he's not that dumb.
Yeah. Going back, there's one Christmas special where it's like It's a Wonderful Life. They did a parody of it. And Butthead visits Beavis as if Beavis never met Butthead. And Stuart is actually the alpha male. they're serving food at a soup kitchen, and Stewart's yelling at Beavis, but Beavis is more nice, and he's all more polite and everything, and he's not like tainted by Butthead's personality. And so, like, if Butthead or Beavis was left alone, I think, you know, he could have. There's more to him.
Oh, yeah.
Could have really grown. But Butthead is who he is. There is no changing Butthead's personality, intelligence, or anything like that. But
well, it's like in the beginning of the movie when they're at the science fair, and Butthead uses that kicker on Beavis and kicks him across the thing, and he lands in the cacti.
Yeah.
And he's like coughing up cactuses. And Butthead just comes up to Beavis and is like, "What are you doing?" Maybe if Butthead weren't there, Beavis would be so much better off. I do like the future look into Beavis and Butthead. I always like that kind of stuff. Like in the first movie when they ran into their fathers.
that was cool.
That was great.
Yeah.
And it laid it all out. I do like when Butthead's dad like smacks Beavis's dad.
I score bolt. Now, do you know a little fun fact?
I don't.
Butthead's dad was voiced by David Letterman in that
Oh,
scene.
was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He puts his name. His name is different in the credits, so he goes by some different weird alter name.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know.
Yeah.
The only names that I have written down for the first movie are Bruce Willis, who played Muddy, and his wife at the time, Demi Moore, was the wife.
Right.
And then Robert Stack is the FBI agent.
Yeah. Which
I did not know that.
You didn't?
I had no idea.
I'm surprised they were able to get somebody like Robert Stack, but
That's one of the things I don't get about the new movie, because Beavis and Butthead has such gravitas with it. It's such a legacy franchise.
yeah.
But they did not really get a lot of big names to voice it.
But then again, this wasn't a theatrical release. It was
Yeah,
just
it
on a
wasn't.
streaming service, which I really wish I could have seen this in theaters, and it would have been more of a theatrical release made with the intention.
I want to see more movies in the theater. I want to see Beavis and Butthead in the theater.
Me too.
That's all I want to see. I want to, because when Beavis and Butthead came out, I think my dad took me to see it when it
Same.
came out.
Beavis and Butthead are like, they fight each other, they get kicked out of the house, and they split and go their separate ways. And this sets off a very sad song where they're walking in the rain, both are walking in the rain, and they're looking at people doing things that remind them of the other. Beavis, I think, he looks into a window of a house and he sees two guys sitting on the couch drinking and watching TV and laughing. And he's like, it reminds him of him and Butthead. And then I think Butthead sees a biker kicking a guy in the nuts.
Yeah, no, it's two bikers, and one of them says something like, "All right, butthole," and then one of them kicks the other one in the nuts.
Yeah.
And then he's just like,
That was us. And this leads up to, since they're split off, they're more vulnerable, and both of them get picked up by either Serena and the
FBI,
others.
or the CIA or FBI.
Yeah, CIA, I
One of
think.
them.
Yeah, one of them. The other crew members from the space shuttle mission, you know, they're both working different ways. Serena wants to kill Beavis and Butthead because they know too much. And, they're going to blow my cover, because now she's the governor of Texas. So she's trying to get reelected.
And the CIA wants to capture them because they think Beavis and Butthead are aliens still.
Beavis gets interrogated, and they realize, oh, well, we need the other one. Both of them together work as a brain, but without them, they're not worth a damn.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They're like, no, they're like both parts of a brain. They have to be together to work well.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So they negotiate between Serena and the CIA, and they're talking. So they get together in this motel room. Beavis and Butthead are sitting there. They're handcuffed, and they're in the same room with these people negotiating. Serena, all that.
And they're getting over their differences because they fought before.
Yeah.
So now they're getting over like, oh, well, she said this thing. It was kind of funny. Let's laugh at it.
Yeah.
And they're rebonding.
Exactly. This is when they get too loud and they start annoying the people in the room, and they're like, get them out of here, and they put them in a different motel room. This is when Jim, the lieutenant from the crew, gets up, and he's in his head, he's thinking, okay, I got to do something and help these boys out. And so he goes over and he's like, hey guys, there's a car out there with keys in it. And he undoes their handcuffs and he's like, go out there, and he gives them directions to go to this place. And they're like, Okay, cool, cool, cool. So anyways, they head out there and they realize, you know what? That Jim guy is just trying to have Serena all to himself.
He wants a score with Serena. That's
Yeah.
all he wants.
Yeah.
And he's mad at us because Serena likes handcuffs. And he got us out of the handcuffs knowing Serena likes handcuffs. So we need to go back in the hotel room, put ourselves back in the handcuffs.
Yeah. So they go back in and they're trying to put handcuffs into cuffs that they locked back in. They're like, we need to get the key.
They interlocked them all together, and then they were like, okay, they're closed. Let's try to put our hands in now.
You know, that's something I would have thought about when I was like 5 years old. How does this
No doubt.
work? They're like, oh, how do we undo this? And they're like, oh, I think he said there's keys. The keys in the car. So they go out into the car and they got all the handcuffs and they're trying to put the key in the handcuffs and it doesn't work, obviously. And Serena and the crew get out and they head to the room where Beavis and Butthead were and they realize they're gone. They're like, they left. So they jump in the van, drive off. Beavis and Butthead see them and they're like, oh, he's taking Serena. Why is it always a guy in a van? Why is it always a guy in a van? You know, they start driving, following them. Heavy metal music plays. Butthead doesn't know how to drive, obviously, so he's ramming into cars and they catch up to the van. They're like, oh my God, who is that? And they're just like, oh, it's a gang or whatever. They're trying to follow us. They know they're on to us. So Beavis and Butthead, then they go and crash into a pole. They wind up driving in reverse and they catch up to the car by driving in reverse. While this is happening, Smart Beavis and Smart Butthead pop up.
Smart Beavis says, at great personal expense, we have once again changed it and we've put it in your house, in your bathroom. Do it within like the next 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Or all the universes will collapse and we will all die.
They said, if you jump through this portal, you will live your lives as normally as the past 24 years. And this is when they finally show that one clip that Mike Judge teased. And it's Beavis and Butthead over the past 24 years since 1998 up to now.
If they just stayed in their own timeline.
Yeah, if they stayed in their own timeline. It's kind of like how...
They look like their dads.
They look like their dads. Butthead's dad is just really fat. He's smoking a cigarette, got a beer in his hand. He's sitting on a scooter. And Beavis is sitting in a pink chair, scrawny, with glasses. He's got a beer in his hand, too, but he has a vape. So Beavis vapes, Butthead smokes cigarettes, and they're surrounded by empty pizza boxes and crumbs everywhere.
Well, the nice part about that is also they don't do it as a one-way thing, look into your future, because the future Beavis and Butthead can also see their past selves, and they think they're watching TV.
They say they look cool, though. The boys say, well, those old guys look cool, or something like that. Butthead stops, and Smart Beavis and Smart Butthead fly out of the back window, and they get run over a few times.
By Beavis and Butthead.
By Beavis and Butthead. The chase ends by the boys running into the front of their house, right through the wall into their living room.
In the car.
Yeah, in the car. Yeah, they ride in there, and it turns around and everything else. They get out, and everybody in the van, Serena and the crew, come in. Serena has them surrounded. She has a gun at them. And Beavis and Butthead say something like, we're ready. And Serena realizes all this time they've just been talking about wanting to score. She finally realizes it after all this time. She's like, oh, you weren't out to get me. You just wanted to score with me.
They have a nice flashback montage when, I forget, Beavis or Butthead, they say something to her. Sexual, explicitly sexual. Mm-hmm. And then she goes back to the thing she said that she's like, what did I say at space camp? Right. And she's like, oh. Well, okay, that makes everything better.
Now she's just like, you know what? I'm just going to let you boys go. But she says, this never happened. What can I do? Or whatever. And they say, well, we want to score with you.
So she's like, I'll have to think about it.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it. All this time, though, the lieutenant guy, Jim, everybody else is saying just, oh, that's fine. They're all leaving. But Jim's like, no.
We're going to forget this. And he's just like, no.
Yeah. And so he winds up getting thrown in the portal where Smart Beavis and Smart Butthead pop up through, and they open up the door, and he's like, I'm on the whistleblowers hotline right now, and then
once they take me off hold, I'm gonna tell them everything.
Yeah, But he gets sucked into the timeline back in 1998 or whatever happens to him.
He just goes through the portal and it closes and everything's fine. And they're like, oh, I mean, we are the smartest Beavis and Butthead throughout the universes, but we're still not that bright. I guess we could have just thrown a brick through there.
Right.
And everything been fine.
And then Beavis gets on his little rant talking to Serena, and he's been wanting to do this the entire movie, telling her that he loves her. I love. And then smart Beavis cuts right through, and he says,
Serena, I love you.
Yeah.
I've been watching you from afar for so long.
Yeah. And then he offers Serena to show her the entire universe, everything she's ever wanted to see since she was a little girl. And Beavis, off to the side, is like, well, I found this free taco coupon from Taco Bell. Sometimes there's a Taco Bell and a Pizza Hut. Serena leaves with Smart Beavis, and they go through the portal that Smart Beavis makes, and that's basically it there.
And the government is like, if you don't say anything about it, we're going to rebuild your house, give you a new TV. You're fine. And now Beavis and Butthead live in 2022.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it. And then we got the closing thing. At the very end, we see Beavis and Butthead sitting on the couch, and they're telling, and that's how it happened, blah, blah, blah. The camera zooms off into the distance, into the sky. And
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then it pans down to this futuristic, kind of looks like a Star Wars Attack of the Clones futuristic city.
It's kind of like, and I don't want to keep bringing this up, but it's like a Rick and Morty, like the Council of Ricks. It's like where all the Beavis and Buttheads are.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what it is.
Smart Beavis and Smart Butthead kick open the doors to this big arena filled with alternate versions of Beavis and Buttheads. And they walk up to the king and queen of Beavis and Butthead, where Beavis is the queen and Butthead is the king.
Because in this universe, Beavis is a woman.
Right, yeah. And it's like an old haggard woman. Smart Beavis gets a medal, and the medal says, I scored. And
because he's the first Beavis to ever have sex.
Yeah.
In all of the multiverse.
Yeah.
This Beavis is the first one to score.
Yeah, that is it. And then the Smart Butthead, he gets a medal that says, I watched. And they both turn around, and then the whole crowd of all the alternate Beavis and Buttheads, they cheer, and then that is it. End.
The end. It's perfect.
We are now at the end of the movie. What was your Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe experience overall?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Compared,
I hope they never make anything Beavis and Butthead ever again. Just stop right now. Yeah. Because it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. It was good. It was funny. It had like the college scene, social commentary.
Yeah.
Was funny enough. And great, and just like, it was fine. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's what Beavis and Butthead should be. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
That's all it needs to be. I don't need some Rick and Morty cerebral humor. I need some dumb, funny stuff. It's what it needed to be. Nothing more.
There's actually parts where I thought that I would watch this entire movie and I'd probably just be like, but there was a few parts where I was actually laughing my ass off.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Like, there were some really good funny parts. My favorite thing about it is if, like me, you watch them back to back like I did in the last 2 days, they're like almost the same movie. They have the same beats as the first. Like, this movie has the same beats as the first movie. The goal is the same. Everyone is thinking, oh my god, these geniuses.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it's like kind of the same movie in a different setting. But it's amazing. I loved it. I thought it was great.
They managed to squeeze like as many characters as they could from the series into it in certain things. Like the courtroom scene, there was Stewart's mom.
Yeah.
Principal McVicker.
Crew cut.
Oh, Buzzcut.
Buzzcut, yeah.
We saw Todd and Beavis's little dream segment there. I felt like it was a good segue into
the new series.
Yeah, if you're going to sit there and write, okay, how do I explain how Beavis and Butthead are now here. I can't keep writing stuff
Yeah.
that's set in the 90s. So I need to bring them up to speed. What is the best vehicle in the way to bring them here? In the new series, there's 4 episodes out at the moment. In the series, they are in 2022.
So it's like post the movie.
Post the movie, yeah. It's after the movie. It's up to date with everything. And I see Van Driesen in it. They're the same age.
Oh.
Shouldn't they be older?
Yeah.
Should it be, so that's what's kind of boggling my mind. But then I look back on it now. Yeah, they are in the future. I don't think they say that they're in the future, but a lot of the things you see in the episodes, it's not the 90s anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, but wait, they could easily just take that plot hole and cover it up by just saying, well, when the universes kind of collided, a lot of other things, and
they could have some stupid.
They'll come up with some kind of idea to where it all works out.
Or the better alternative, they don't give. Never tell you.
Exactly.
They're just like, well, they're just here now, so shut up.
Yeah, I will say the new episodes so far. There is one that's kind of which is the fire one where Beavis sees.
Oh yeah, no, I watched it.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it. So
you didn't
shut
hate
the
it? Oh,
I thought it was funny.
I didn't.
It is not like that's not why Beavis likes fire. It's just a funny little short.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I say it's on par with how the original series was, because there's a lot of horrible Beavis and Butthead episodes from back in the. For every good one, there's like another bad one. It was almost 50-50.
I was gonna say it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
The like most of them are not that great.
Like
or half of them aren't that great.
The movie, I feel like, was a lot better than the trailer when I saw it.
Oh yeah.
It explored a lot of different things. It really hit a lot of bases that needed to be hit, checked a lot of boxes, and it's just kind of the nuances in how Butthead is, more than Beavis. How Butthead is, he seems to be smarter in this movie and and the series. He seems to be like more. He always was, but he seems to be more intelligent, just slightly.
There's and I noticed it today when I rewatched Do the Universe. Before Beavis and Butthead fight, he's like taunting Beavis, and he is reciting verbatim the numbers. You remember when they're walking out to the space shuttle at the beginning, and she's like, not many people have done this before. It's only like 130 men and 70 women and a dog and a monkey. And later when they're about to fight, Butthead 100% just recites those exact numbers. It's like, she doesn't want to sleep with you. She's already slept with like 120 men and 70 women and a monkey. And it was a good movie. I love the movie. I thought it was good. I hope they never make another one. I hope they never make another. Mike Judge, don't ever make another one. Don't ever make a one. Please. This was fine. Also, Mike Judge did not direct this one.
Yep.
He was only an EP. He was an executive producer. He did direct the first one, just not this one. Which I was like,
yeah.
But because I love Mike Judge. I love you, Mike Judge. Mike Judge, if you're watching this right now, I love you. I would love to do a voice on some cartoon you're doing. Thank you. Like, just hit me up, I'll send you my Gmail.
Get out.
No. The only the things I didn't like about it. Nothing was perfect. No. The animation I didn't like. I love animation a lot. But the animation for the new movie was, especially after watching Do America, so it was still done by cell and painted background, which is fine. I'm sorry, plebes. I'm going to say animation stuff.
Go right
but
ahead.
The new movie was done all by computer, and it's a little too clean. And it's not like I'm not bashing the movie for that, because they do what they have to do. Like that, they had to crank it out within like so many months. So I get that. The animation is a little too clean for me. Like for Beavis and Butthead, after watching Do America again in some of the shorts, like it's just dirty and it just moves around a lot and it's a little like janky. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a little more wholesome. Yeah. Where this is done all by like computer stuff. It's whatever. It's fine. Other complaint. Mike Judge did not direct. Mike Judge.
I know.
Why did you not direct this? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm going through them.
Go through them.
So when they go to their house and when it's for sale and they're talking to the lady and they're with the garbage disposal, Beavis sticks his hand in the garbage disposal, his fingers up. In the next frame, they don't care. His fingers are fine.
Yeah.
I'm mad about that. Please change that.
There are some episodes where Beavis gets injured and they have to go through a whole thing. That's the whole episode.
Yeah. Well, like I know the one where he does with the bandsaw.
Yeah.
And he cuts his fingers off. Yeah.
Here they don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. And like 2 scenes later, it's like his fingers are fine. Other biggest complaint I have, when they're in the police car and they back it up into the light pole.
Okay.
The police, they're like, hit the wheel. The police are holding revolvers.
I've noticed that. Yeah.
Not like 9mm, just holding revolvers.
Yeah.
In 2022. That's a little weird.
All right. Mayberry style.
Other than those small nitpicks, it was a great movie. I loved it.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the animation because I feel the same way about that, where the biggest thing that I notice is it seems they have darker edges everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot... Like, the 90s, it was a lot smoother, it feels like to me. Like, there's completely...
If you watch it again and you pay attention to it, you can notice... But it's like, you can see it's like, oh, I can see the kind of pixel edges. Like,
oh, yeah.
I don't like that. They are just using computer animation, which is perfectly fine. It's a way easier way to do it. Mm-hmm. After watching Do America the other night, traditional animation so much because you see that they're just using cells of the character on a painted background. Mm-hmm. You can tell the difference between the background and the character. This, it's all like, I don't like that. Like, I understand it because it's a cost thing, because animating the first Beavis and Butthead, I don't know, I don't have it on hand how much it cost.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But they did it by hand. They did it drawing by hand and painted backgrounds. It took a while to do.
Oh yeah.
So it's easier to do it digitally. I get that. I just don't like it. I hate it. I don't know. Like, what do your complaints about the movie? If you had overall, because my complaints are just like aesthetic and continued. Like the police having revolvers is stupid.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a great movie, I thought. What are your complaints?
I would just say animation, like I said, it's just a little too... The dark lines are a bit bolder than original.
Everything's too clean.
Right. It's very crisp. And I felt like there's not many things to complain about, but I will say the out of rap song that was used, I wish they would have used the old school rap song. But besides that, there is no complaints where I see... There's one bad thing where I could really point to and say, whole movie's ruined. I don't like it.
It was nice to see it just be Beavis and Butthead. And that's all it was. It was just stupid Beavis and Butthead, and that's all I wanted. I don't want anything more than just stupid and fart jokes, and that's all I want in Beavis and Butthead. That's all you need. But it was just like the first movie in the old show.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And that perfect. That's all I want. Don't ever make another one, please.
Yeah. It's, anytime you watch a Three Stooges short, what do you expect?
Oh, my God.
The
Three Stooges.
Yeah,
I love the Three Stooges.
What do you expect?
All right, so
That's you want.
This is now the Three Stooges podcast. We're going to talk about the Three Stooges for the next 4 hours.
All right.
I'm down.
You're a Shemp guy. I'm a Curly guy.
Shemp's the best brother, man. No, actually, Mo's the best brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mo is. He's the guy.
But the Beavis and Butthead movie was amazing. I thought it was fine. I hope they never make another one.
Yeah.
Because they hit kind of like Midland with this, and it's like, okay, it was fine. Please never make another one.
So looking at this movie, for what it is, it's a movie that went straight to streaming. So for a straight to streaming movie, it's very good.
Oh, it's perfect. If you have Paramount Plus, it's basically free. Watch it.
That's the only reason I got Paramount Plus.
Oh, really? We already had Paramount Plus, and we watched, and I was like, oh, go watch it. And I watched it, and I was like, oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's fun. If you're like me and DJ Glowing Eyes, if you're like us, you'll love it, man. It's a good movie. You know what, Mike Judge? You're never going to watch us, but I want to thank you for making our childhoods hilarious.
A lot better, and not stuck having to watch Rugrats or something.
Wow.
Okay, so on Rotten Tomatoes, it's 97% on the tomato meter.
With the critics.
Yeah.
The audience has it at 84%. That's, you know what? If you scored Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe under 100% and you're a fan, you're not a fan. Go away. Get out of here. You're not a fan. It's funny. It's Beavis and Butthead. What do you want? It's not Rick and Morty. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Brainiac here.
No, you know what? And because I like Rick and Morty.
I've never seen an episode.
The first 3 seasons of Rick and Morty, I like. They're good. But then, like, the 4th season, they start getting into the whole, like, oh, we're cerebral. Shut up. Don't do that. I'm not done recording. Listen, fans, my name is Popper Paul, and I love you. I want to see you come to my house. I love you.
So, getting down to business. Paul, what would you rate Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe out of 10?
Listen, baby. It's Beavis and Butthead. For Beavis and Butthead, it's high. It's super high. It's got to be like... No, you know what? I'm settling on 9 to 9.5.
Ooh.
Done.
To 9.5.
I'm done.
I'm going to say 9 out of 10 myself. 9.0. That's what I give it. I'm very shocked. If I could have told myself the beginning of July that I would give it such a high score, I would say that I'm crazy. But
No, especially after seeing the trailer. The trailer was also, Mike Judge, the trailer was garbage. I hated that trailer. It was not what the movie was.
Yeah.
The movie was amazing, and I liked it. And I'm so glad for DJ Glowing Eyes. He invited me on his podcast. I'm nobody until tomorrow when this comes out.
No, you're everything, bud. I don't know what you're talking about. Coolest guy I know.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead is cool. Like the movie, go watch the movie, download the movie, buy the movie, send me all your money. I don't care. Do whatever you want, guys.
Well, that about wraps it up. Any final words, Paul?
Yeah. It was all right. I like you guys. You guys are all right. Come hang out sometime. Have you guys seen this Tom Nook? That's a Tom Nook. He's a Tanuki. I love DJ Glowing Eyes. He collects war planets.
That's a very deep dig. If you know what war planets are, then...
He collects war planets, and he's been on a war planets commercial. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Yeah, that's it.
What? All right.
All right, we're done. We're done.
We are done. Thank you guys for watching.
I'm
I
gonna
am DJ Glowing Ice. This is...
Popper Paul. Popper Paul.
And we are out.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get up. I got to go poop.
I'm going to do a Jesus and flip the table. All right, we're done.
That was good.